this is where you go. Welcome to the Mizzle Dub Show, where they know sports. If you wanna know about sports, this is where you go. First down, touchdown, first down, touchdown, yeah. First down, touchdown, first down, touchdown, yeah. First down, touchdown, first down, touchdown, yeah. First down, touchdown, first down, touchdown, yeah.
Toodles.
Well, very rarely do we get to say this on this show, but top of the morning to you guys. So happy Monday morning. I guess we can call it our own version of Monday morning quarterback. But
Hey, that's a good way to look at it.
Indeed. But welcome to episode number 176 of the Mizzle and I Show. And this particular show is pretty much going to be dedicated to the A7FL, the American Sevens Football League, which yesterday started its 10th anniversary season. So there were games across Florida, the Northeast, and Asbury Park, New Jersey, in Ohio, and of course, 4 games here in Vegas. Yesterday we were at Liberty High School, the temporary home for Week 1, as this week we're taking a week off, obviously, to celebrate Easter, or as we as believers say, Resurrection Sunday.
Yes, indeed.
We'll take the holiday off and then be back at our new digs at Chaparral High School back on April the 7th. But some teams yesterday making a statement. Certainly in Northeast, certainly in the Northeast, the Patterson U and the Trenton BIC, or as I like to say their full name, the Brothers in Christ. Both of those teams made huge statements yesterday in their opening day games, definitely trying to get back to their assertive dominance as they have been for so long in this league. I mean, the Watchmen and the U was a very hyped game for Week 1, given the fact that Huff returns to the Patterson U. CP3 Corey Price takes us down to the Watchmen, but the U completely dominated the Watchmen by a final score of 42-18. I mean, it was your typical Northeast football. Like, they like to play physical, they like to play tough, they like to run the ball, but they will go up top from time to time. But the U definitely made a statement, and basically it's like Huff and the U picked up from where they left off and definitely want to reestablish themselves as champions. And then the U pitch a shutout, beating the Snow Tribe 42-0. As a former Insomniac, Trey Robinson got some playing time, now wearing the colors of the BIC.
Yes.
And I mean, the Snow Tribe added some players, but now look to go back to the drawing board. And then we was trying to get a score of the Renegades and the Animals. Of course, special guest of the show from time to time, the one and only Corey Hammond played for the Renegades, so we're still trying to get some stats and the final score on that one. The Nightcrawlers, the defending Eastern Conference champions, put up a 50-burger against the Orlando Ghosts in a 50-30 final score there. And the Octane made their debut yesterday in Indianapolis, but fell to the Covington Heist 41-12. And the QC Crush gets shut out by the Cincinnati Chaos 41-0. And final score last night in New Jersey, the final score was the Silk City Animals 28 and the East Orange Renegades 8. So the Animals, who Huff played for last season, who made the playoffs, get a win against the Orange 21-8. So that pretty much covers all the scores across the landscape that was not in Nevada in the A7FL.
A lot of 40s. A lot of 40s.
A lot of 40 burgers were definitely put up yesterday for sure.
Yeah, and a couple of shutouts are interesting, but you kind of expect that on a Week 1. Teams are still trying to figure themselves out.
As Chris said last night, I mean, Week 1, you expect a lot of sloppiness because, I mean, you've been practicing against each other for so long, and then when you finally get up against somebody else, it's now, okay, well, it's time to wake up. So
clearly saw that in a few of the Vegas games too.
Yes, no question about that. But it was just fun to get back out there, get in the booth, be with the Viking, be with Chris, and then Knox25 joined us for the Force and Insomniacs game, which was fantastic, which we'll get into that shortly.
Yeah.
A lot of teams adding new players. A lot of teams not standing pat for sure in this
No,
10th
that's for sure.
season. Interesting to see what's going to happen. Teams get a week off to refocus, regroup, add, and do what they need to do, and then come back again on the 7th of April at Chaparral High School. But first game that took place, well, let me get my notes. Hold on one second.
See, preparedness is key in this field.
Well, not necessarily my notes, but just mainly my roster stuff that Miss Kelly was guarding with her life on yesterday. She wanted to make sure that nobody got it. Due to some foul stuff being done by organizations, but that's a whole other story. But nonetheless, yesterday, first game of the day, saw Sick With It wearing some new white threads, taking on the Pit Bosses.
Yeah, pretty neat.
Yeah, there was a lot of white jerseys yesterday. But I will say, by far, OTT's new threads were absolutely wonderful. It almost reminded me, like, is this LSU?
I agree.
Is this the LSU Bayou Bengals? But they had a stacked roster. Sick always has a stacked roster, but Sick would have got it started with a 48-6 victory over the Pit Bosses. Darren Palmer, do what he does best. Always seems to find the end zone no matter what formation or play you put him in. He continuously finds the end zone. But one thing that impressed me was they gave Joe Jackson some time to throw the ball, and Chris said it's very catching a ball from a left-handed quarterback and catching a ball from a right-handed quarterback is definitely
tricky.
It's tricky, different. There's always different spins on the ball. But nonetheless, he came in.
Pit Bosses need a quarterback. That was their lack. They had a nice running game, but they could definitely see that they lack quarterback.
Well, unfortunately,
protecting their quarterback.
Well, unfortunately, their quarterback that they had, Quentin Ariarte, who played for the Alienators in the fall brawl, unfortunately, he's out for the season with a torn ACL. And certainly our prayers and best wishes to him, which really, really sucked because, he can really sling the football there. But, you're right. That is something I'm pretty sure that Coach Q is trying to find because, as they always say, if you don't have a quarterback, you don't have nothing.
That is...
don't get me wrong. Iquan Corsi, who of course played for the Kryptonite during the last spring season, who was very talented, actually got hurt, came back, and actually played well when he came back in. But when you don't have time to throw the football, normally bad things normally happen. But then again, Sick With It. When you got the big Oos, Josiah Sal, big number 57, of course, who went to college at Vanderbilt. You got him up front.
Living in the backfield.
You got him up front. Then you add Anthony Diggs, big number 55, along with him. Then you added, of course, you still got Biggie Sykes. You still got Big Dennis Udo. And not to mention, two of their best defenders didn't even play yesterday because Ahmad Awada wasn't there. And Daniel Quinn wasn't there. So, there's two guys that you didn't have.
Yeah.
But you plugged in. One thing that was shocking for me was seeing Joey Gentili, formerly the Insomniacs, coast to Sick With It, but got some time at running back and actually ran the ball very well yesterday.
Yeah, very efficient. Yeah.
And then, of course, Curtis Jones decides to stay with the running back with Sick and not go back to the force where he was the last 2 seasons in the spring. Then, of course, you got Matt Murphy. Murphy, who was outstanding during the fall brawl, picked up from where he left off. Him and Fees, Mr. Feaster. Of course, Fees you can catch on with Biggie on you heard with Biggie and Friends on Wednesdays, but Fees came back into the spring, had a fantastic game on defense along with Murphy. Michael Lugo again up. To have an offensive line of Lugo and Diggs and whoever else you want to put in at the offensive line, definitely gave Devin Houston and Joey.
Oh, there was plenty of room to run.
Run up the middle.
Plenty of room to run. Yeah.
And Julio Mora makes his return. He ran the ball efficiently well. And, yes, we are, JP. Don't get used to this.
It's rare.
Very rarely do we do a morning show, but top of the morning to you, my guy. Don't forget to please follow the All-Pro Jaffos with Josh Bernetta, Country K. Kawante Foster, and Damian Saunders, DJ Matt Sticks. They'll have a show tomorrow. one of their shows will be an A7FL show.
Yes.
So please like and more importantly subscribe to their page. But again, I mean, Coach Mark Gray was not going to stand pat. I mean, yes, Sick lost some players, but of course, they're going to bring some players back, and certainly that paid dividends, and they get a 40 burger as they win 48-6 over the Pit Bosses. And for the Pit Bosses, it is back to the drawing board for them. But
they'll figure it out. They had some good plays. They definitely had some good plays going on. If they, like I said, it's week one for everybody. Everybody's filling each other out, just trying to see what they can run and just to see what. It's tough because you want to win the week one game, but it's also to see where you stand.
Yes,
so there's still plenty of football left.
There is. And yes, so tomorrow the Joffos will be doing their ace. Now, see, like the Joffos, we're trying to get like them because they're going to show some highlight reels of the touchdowns tomorrow, and they normally do a very good plays of the week. They normally do their top 5, but it might be top 7 for this year. But again, like I said, check out the Joffos tomorrow. Again, like I said, very good friends of ours, and like I said, they're just very good dudes. Like I said, we've been guests on the shows multiple times. And I mean, JP, if you want to come on and talk A7FL, you're more than welcome to. Just let us know. We'll send you the link if you want to give your thoughts on what you saw yesterday as we watching all across the country. As I said, the U and BIC definitely made some statements trying to get themselves back in the championship picture. And really some games out here in Vegas. All right, so stand by. We're going to have a Joffo join us and give his recap of what he saw in the American Sevens Football League. So we're all over the place, getting live calls, getting live situations. But nevertheless, glad to be back. One thing I will say, before we got started on the game today, me and Scott went on the field and to check out the playing conditions at Liberty High, and it was a very firm, very hard turf at Liberty High. And if you notice, there was a lot of slipping yesterday on the fields, which fortunately did not.
Touchdowns got returned.
Yeah. I mean, there wasn't much 3-on-1s. There was only 2. So if Chris was a betting man, he would have lost the bet because on the other side of the ball on Wednesday, he said there was going to be at least 7 3-on-1 returns.
Oh.
And he said that Savion Cunningham would have at least half of those. Savion didn't even find the end zone yesterday. Return-wise were over the top, but nevertheless.
A lot of slippage on the field, though. You are correct. There was a lot of – and even though when the runners was getting the ball, they couldn't cut up field or make the selective cut they were trying to make. So, yeah. The field was a little slippery.
Yeah, well – and I mean, there was a little bit of rain, but it didn't really affect the games per se. But I know one particular return between the Force and the Insomniacs, which we'll get more into that game. Jaden Webb's on one. Once he saw Cody Johnson slip and saw that open, he took it and never broke stride. So I mean, I'm just trying to tell you, it's we call it the most exciting play in sports for a reason. And, there was, don't get me wrong, there were some very good returns yesterday.
Yes.
Not for touchdowns, but I mean, a lot of teams had a lot of plus territory field position. But I'm pretty sure that will change as the weather warms up here in Vegas.
Yeah. A couple of tackles away of breaking loose. A lot of the runners were hard to go down. If it wasn't for them slipping or getting through one tackle, making that cut. Chris could have been right. It could have been up to 7, but just a lot of good defense as well on the throwaway.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know the Insomniacs are very good at making sure they don't.
Hey, Desi should have had at least about 3. Mr. should have had about 3. The one he did get was nice, but he should have had up to 3. He almost got through a couple of them, but just like I said, great tackling.
He did.
He should have had about 3.
Well, I mean, that's just showing the true talent that Mr. Denzel Daniels is, and he wanted to come on. Well, first of all, we were planning to do this last night, but my co-host again was celebrating his wedding anniversary with his wife, which again, happy anniversary again. And
Thank you.
I mean, you've always started. I mean, as much as you enjoy being in the booth doing 4 games, it does make you tired.
Oh, of course.
Being there from 9 in the morning to at 9 at night. I mean, even with most of the games being mercy rules, I mean, you still get tired. And the fact that it's a long drive from where we're at to where, whatever side of town you live on. But nonetheless, we meant to come on yesterday. So my apologies to CJ Smith and Denzel Jones. They wanted to come on last night.
I'll
Talk about the
say
show.
that as well. Got a little tired myself.
So we apologize, gentlemen. But if you are watching and you still want to come on and talk about what's going on in the league, feel free. Like I said, this league has been posted in the Nevada Players Group. So anybody that is watching, if you want to come on and talk about what you saw yesterday with your team, you're more than welcome to. Because, like I said, this show's about you guys and us giving our Week 1 recap. And
I'm not the one to never really too much complain much about it, but the refs had their hands in a few of these games too.
that seems to be
it was a couple of PIs. I was like, who threw that flag? And where did he see that? I mean, I get there on the field, but it was a few. I'm like, man, hold on. Let them grown ass men out there play.
Well, I tell you what, and you know how vocal the Vikings Scott McCorkle is when it comes to why they throw the flag. Him and Chris were kind of like, I'm not understanding this.
I didn't.
But I mean, there was. I mean, even in the on the YouTube feed chat, there was a lot of talks about what's going on with these refs. Even Trey Robinson, who was watching back east, watching the game, was talking about. I'm not understanding.
And when they should have threw the flag, they didn't throw the flag. It's like, okay, so it's okay. It's Week 1 for everybody. It's Week 1, including including you. For the life of you, you could not get the teams right. What was wrong, bro? What was wrong? Yes, I will blast my co-host on the show. This is what I do. Yes.
No, not on the show. You've been doing this for 27 years. Let's not lie to the people, you asshole. Okay, all right.
But it was for everybody, though. Everybody had a Week 1 opener. It was just funny, though. But
for whatever reason, I had the doggone kryptonite on my mind, and I really don't know why. I mean, mainly because yes, it is Kal-El's weakness. But when I wanted to say force kryptonite just kept coming out of my doggone mouth. I'm like, what is wrong? Like, what is wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
Classic.
But it was opening day for everybody, but it was not opening day for La J Tacos. Shout out to those guys. The tacos were very good and very immaculate on yesterday. Steve Ashmore and shout out to Steve Ashmore, who's our camera guy who takes some fantastic photos. He had 23
camera angles were nice.
The
camera angles was very nice.
Yeah. No, shout out to Mel Carey. Who had the camera on the field, so you got to see in the huddle.
That was nice as well.
He worked very hard yesterday. So I'm putting it out there for those that live in Las Vegas, Nevada. If you have some camera experience, we do need some more camera people for this season. So please, if you want to film some football and you have camera experience, please contact me and I'll get you the Mel, and Mel can set it up and this, then the third. So as we were waiting our guest to come on and give us his 2 cents on what he saw yesterday at the A7FL. In the second game, speaking of the doggone kryptonite, or as Big Knox 25 likes to call them, the Crypto Kings, or as Chris called them, the Kryptonites, or whatever nickname he had. But the Kryptonite put up a 46 burger on the Hunters and won by the final score of 46-6. I was very impressed with David Drummer, big number 9. That is a tall, man, and he is a huge target at tight end. Definitely enjoyed watching Aisha Downing play on defense. William Coswell on receiving, and Trevani Page made some plays at wide receiver, and then Michael Powell, Little Bubba, ran the ball very hard for the Kryptonite yesterday. And in addition to that, Tyrone Leakins, a.k.a. Primetime, made some good touchdown catches, even though he did drop some he should have caught which again, it's opening day. I mean, mistakes do happen, but
He did get his Dion dance on the end zone twice.
he did do the primetime dance.
Yeah, he got a
Found
chance
the
to hit
end
the
zone
dance.
twice. But I mean, the Kryptonite was one team I really wanted to see because again, you talk about Coach Chris Wallace, who coaches the Las Vegas Kings, the indoor football team, as he's preparing for their season starting next year with this new arena or this new indoor football league that they're putting together. That Derek Duncan and Mike Tice are a part of that organization. But definitely want to see how his players would adjust to playing A7 style, and a pretty good debut. Alexander Flisk, the quarterback. For most of the broadcast, I was saying Fisk because it looked like it was Fisk. But of course, reminded me of Carlton Fisk, the Hall of Fame catcher. And people it's Fisk, but I mean, he had some good throws.
And he left some plays on the field too.
The Kryptonite easily could have had over a 50. Could have had a 50 burger.
I mean,
for sure.
he had daylight on a few times, and a few passes he just overthrew. But other than that, he had a decent performance. You know,
that seemed to be the pattern.
He dropped some passes. He dropped some passes in there. I'm like, whoa.
No, the one page he threw to Tatum, I still don't know how he got it in there because I mean that was an absolute dime.
Yes,
and I mean he threw it to where either Tatum was going to get it or it was not going to be caught. Definitely has some accuracy, but I mean. It's funny you mentioned that because I mean there were a lot of times where the quarterbacks, and you heard Chris saying this a lot in the broadcast yesterday, was he's got him open, and they just would not pull the trigger. I don't know if that's week one jitters. I don't know if they're just not seeing it, which again, you know, sometimes defensive pressure does make you adjust and makes you go to a different read, but nonetheless, it just they're just scared to see it, or scared to see the or just as you know, good quarterbacks throw receivers open even when you think they're covered because receivers can make adjustments on the fly to get to the ball, and sometimes you just have to trust your instincts and just sling it in there. For lack of a better term, but the Kryptonite get a big win, 46-6. And ladies and gentlemen, joining us, and again, you can catch his version of the A7FL recap tomorrow with him, Country Gang DJ Matt Sticks, of course, our good friend and brother of the program, the one, the only, Mr. JP, Josh Perneda, as he and his teammates from the Tigers coming off a 29-0 shutout in their game.
We'll give more of the story about what happened on that game tomorrow, but I just know Kay is going to have a lot to say about it. That I know for sure he's going to have a lot to say about it.
So fans, that means tune in and to hear that story. But of course, JP, as always, we thank you for joining us. So
absolutely, guys, anytime.
So, from what you saw last night across the nation with the A7FL, what things that stand out for you from week one of what you saw?
The fact that it's really difficult to keep track of all three spots, Ohio, the West, and the East. Trying to compile all of the touchdowns and everything like that to get. It's difficult as shit, but at least from what I saw, the East, the BIC are on a revenge tour for sure. They are not playing around. They showed that up against the Snow Tribe, who melted by the time the first fucking minute ended. It was just bad on their part. I don't know what maybe it has something to do with their owner getting cut by the Bills. I have no idea. Why their whole team is I don't know what happened. The game plan for the Snow Tribe was ass in the terms of Big Rob Fabian. Coaching, just all around ugly game. And a question of mine was, are the BIC just that good or the Snow Tribe just that bad? It was probably a mixture of both. Because, like I said, execution-wise, everything, that game, just terrible to watch. But everywhere else, on the West I kind of figured what I was going to see out of Vegas was about what I was, thinking was going to happen at the end of the fall brawl. The Force actually, gave the Insomniacs a game there.
Yeah, that was
It was
a good game of the week. Good call on that one.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody else could hear it, but I sensed a little nervousness in Mr. Viking Scott McCorkle in the booth right there when that game was going on.
Well, first off, the funny thing about that is he was supposed to be on the field coaching, but because, of course, Chris Mouth McWilliams. Hello, Mr. Branch. How are you? Good morning to you. I was supposed to be, but because they already got coaches. I mean, I think Quincy Burks is the coach this year. I don't think he's playing. Of course, Chris McWilliams recovering from his injury. He's in a walking boot. He was out there coaching, and so Scott decides to come back up to the booth. And during that game, it was myself, Big Knox 25, Chris, and Scotty. And Knox gave some really good stuff. He's not playing this year. Knox gave some really good stuff. I mean, not as ongoing as Scott is, but I mean, Knox got right to the point and gave some good stuff. So shout out to Big Knox 25 for coming in and joining us, and hopefully he will come in and do some more stuff. But nonetheless, I mean, the Force played as good of a game as you possibly could, but I think, unfortunately for them, I think the game changed, unfortunately, when De'Aaron Fox got hurt. And that's no knock on Rock, because Rock has been a very good player for the Force for the years he's been there. Of course, he was the man that led them to their win in New Jersey against the Snow Tribe in the playoffs. And you can never take that away from the Force. But it just seemed like offensively they got into a rut once Fox got hurt. And he
was balling out. He was balling out crazy. That's why I was like, oh, fuck. As soon as he went down, I was like, ooh, this might get a little hairy for the Force. They were holding the defense, but it's something that's proven time and time again with the Insomniacs. And this is where me, Madsticks, and Kay kind of, when we look at it, we're going, yeah, they're undefeated now, but how long can that last if they continue to play like this? And what I mean is, they rely so much on their depth to get them out of trouble, to get everything else like that. Oh, I love this man right here so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, with his Sir Elton John glasses and wearing the nice.
These are like for me to see better on a monitor. Like they're yellow.
Blue light glasses. Yep.
My friend, whatever can help you see better, I'm all for it. And by the way, I love the blue blazer that you had on yesterday. Ladies and gentlemen, the voice of the A7FL, or as I like to call him, the Jim Ross of the A7FL, of course.
My God.
And/or ha, gentlemen.
Top of the afternoon to you, Matt Ryan. Thank you for coming in. So, Matt, we're talking briefly about what we could see on the East. You saw it there. The U and the BIC making big statements yesterday. Talk about what you, Rob, and Corey saw on the field in Asbury Park of just. JP calls it the revenge tour, but how did you see it?
Well, aside from that horn that denotes lunchtime in the Kingdom of Asgard, for me, I won't speak for Rob or Corey, and we'll get into that this Friday on the 3-on-1 podcast. But holy shit, the Patterson U. Holy shit. That was the Patterson U that we were introduced to in 2021. That was the team dominating the league in 2019 in the Sailors tournament of 2021. And it helps to have Quattro Huffin back because some of the throws he made.
Yes, it does.
But Dakari Mims on that team, Pat Coburn being an option, Dot Boss getting a touchdown, the ability to run the ball with Snag Sosa, Marcus McKinney, having some of those young cats on that team like Hector, the depth, Mo Ramadan coming back, looking like I was told not to call him a mid-sized sedan anymore. So we were workshopping a couple of things in the car last night. So we're thinking maybe Titan. We're going to reach out to Datsun, see if they make any family vehicles and see if we can work that out. If not, it's like one of those Mercedes-Benz buses that pulls people on tour from show to show. The BIC were exactly who we expected them to be. John Columbia was on Rob's radar defensively for the BIC, and he showed up and he made quite a statement on Sunday. For me, the BIC and the U are the top two teams right now in the Eastern Conference. You can't take away what the what the Nightcrawlers did against the Ghost, having only 8 active players because of scheduling and circumstances.
Really?
And putting
So they had 8
50
players and
50 on the Ghost head.
they still put up 50.
They
with
still
8
put up
players.
50,
Wow.
and
Wow.
and you know, a 20-point win in this league doesn't feel like a boat race, but when it's 7 dudes and 1 guy on the sideline holding a clipboard,
Wow.
that's a rough pill to swallow. And
Yeah.
That's an ass whooping. I'm sorry. That results in 100 points right there.
That will be interesting because their coach, former NFL running back DeJuan Harris, of course, last year in the league he played for JP and my beloved 49ers. He'll be on the show Wednesday, so that is definitely something I would like to ask him about that. Putting up 50 with just 8 guys, that's insane. So if I read this correctly, you said going to the BIC shout out the Snow Tribe. Did I hear this correctly? 3 pick sixes by the BIC defense. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, 3 pick sixes. Let me pull up some of my notes here from David.
2 of them by 1, or 2 of them by number 6. I forgot the.
So yeah, the Snow Tribe had 4 turnovers on offense. 3 of those were for defensive touchdowns. Trey Robinson getting the first one. He got a pitch 6. First time we saw him in a BIC uniform. That team was focused. That team was having fun. That team was distributing the ball. They have so many weapons. Marcellus Pack at running back is a problem. You're not going to see Courage Mosey until week 3. And K-Black and Trey Baskerville was a fun matchup. Trey Baskerville getting a sack fumble on Sterry Codrington. Had a decent day, but that BIC offensive line looking like a problem. The Patterson U offensive and defensive line looking like problems. If you taking a look at some of the stats here in the first half, the BIC held the Snow Tribe to 32 total yards.
Oh, that's dominance. That's dominance.
The BIC had 144 yards passing, 64 yards rushing. Huff went 5 for 9 on Sunday, 193 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was sacked once, 1 interception, 4 sacks by the U defense at one point. It felt like it almost hit 6 for them. But the Watchmen, the offensive line is going to be a concern. The lack of depth, players jumping over to the Buzz, players going over to the Patterson U. We saw Nick Mays, a huge weapon, who was a defensive player of the year and a sneaky MVP candidate for Baltimore last season, now going into a Patterson U team that did not need the help, but holy shit, having Nick Mays sacking OG Buck or putting pressure on Ace Boogie has been a weird thing to watch. I would not be surprised if what I'm hearing about the championship is what's going to happen. Whoever comes out from the West, if both teams show up fully stacked, are going to have a long day at the office. Because if the Insomniacs were going up against a Force team that had Deion Fox at quarterback that seemingly had a disappointing performance, gave up a couple of interceptions. The Insomniac Denzel Daniels had 2 returns for touchdowns.
He had 1, but almost could have had more
3.
than 1.
He should have had 3.
There was a lot of issues with the turf yesterday. There was a lot of slipping. And like I said, me and the Vikings, Scotty, we went on the field to try to just get a firm grip. It was very hard. It was very tough, and that's why you saw a lot of slippage. I mean, there's a couple. I mean, the one that Jaden Webb had. If Corey Johnson didn't slip, I don't think Jaden Webb takes that 3-1 return for 8 touchdowns. So, the field definitely play a part. Hence why there was only 2 returns for touchdowns on yesterday's action. But interesting to see how the field at Chaparral High will give when we get back to it on the 7th of April as we take Easter Sunday off for week 2, and we'll be back at it on the 7th. But, I mean, there were still some good returns, a lot of returns that got into plus territory, but the field definitely played the turf a lot yesterday. I mean, there were some runs to where you thought there could be more, but of course, the turf monster giveth and taketh away, for lack of a better term. But kudos to you, Rob and Corey, because you guys were talking about how it was very, very cold in
It was in the low 40s for most of the day.
Yep,
you're brave.
That's cold.
You're brave.
Wearing that suit, the jacket the entire time.
I believe it.
We had these. Luckily, Alex Soberman, our intrepid producer, had a box of hand warmers from what he does for a living, and I broke one. It popped while I was on the air. I'm doing commentary and I'm rubbing this in my hands and I'm tossing it back and forth like a rosin bag because I was a junior varsity pitcher. I pitched a third of an inning. I threw sidearm and now my left shoulder don't work. The issue comes down to it was fucking freezing in there yesterday, but I'm just so glad A7FL football is back. We saw a lot of interesting things, and Dub, I would love your opinion on this because it looks like it's chalk. It looks like we're seeing. I'm surprised that the pit bosses that the Sickwood, it took a while to put the Louis belt on them.
Yeah.
And the Hunters are playing exactly how I thought that team was going to play because of and it hurts me to say this because behind me here on the wall of stuff is a Hunters jersey. Like that team, I named that team. So I have a close association to that team name. But it seems like they're still just trying to find anybody to be the leader of that club and take up the mantle and run with that. And it's disheartening to see them just kind of get stuck in this place to where they're the way station.
Well, I mean, as you've heard the phrase so many times, if you have more than one quarterback, then you don't have a quarterback. And I think that's one particular position that they have to settle on who is their quarterback. Is it Snoop Gregory Smith? Is it Kamari Michael? Who's going to be the guy to take
Kamari Michael was going to be on another team up until the start of last week.
Yes, you're right.
And you had Jordan Davidson, who was allegedly the starting quarterback for this team. You've got to pick somebody.
Agreed.
If you're the watchman and you're like, okay, we have Buck, we have Gauze, we have CP.
Yes.
We have to figure out, okay, Buck is the person in charge. Ace will call the plays. We'll rotate players in and out. And we'll do it based on packages. Right here, you just have three guys. Greg Smith, who on the Kryptonite, Snoop, for those who watched the Fall Brawl in 2022 and watched last season. He's a talented player, traditional flag football quarterback, but he's also on the other side of 50. So you have two young kids in Jordan Davidson and Kamari Michael who are not traditional quarterbacks. They both want to play quarterback. They both want to be the face of a team, the face of a division. You don't get that just by going on a podcast. You don't get that because people are making fun of you on the internet. You do that by showing up and doing the work. Ashante Worthy's the face of this league. You know why? Did you see what he did on the second play of the BIC on from scrimmage? First time he touched the ball, second season in a row, he goes to the house, gets a touchdown. Quattrell Huffin, MVP of the league, returns to the Patterson U, plays the team that beat the U in the regular season and in the playoffs.
Yes. Decisively in the playoffs.
Back to Baltimore. If you are walking into this league and thinking because people are making fun of you on Facebook or say your name on a podcast that you matter, you don't. Stop it. Be an adult. If you think that you are going to be a player in this league and you're putting in the work, you're putting into practice, but you're selling for all of that external noise, You're doing yourself a disservice, you're doing the team a disservice, and you're doing the league a disservice. Because it makes me not want to, we don't want to talk about people like that on the show anymore. Because it does us no good. You know what we're going to talk about on Friday? How the heist and the chaos look good. How the Tampa Nightcrawlers, no matter what the configuration, as long as they have enough bodies to go on the field, they're going to beat somebody's ass. We're going to talk about the Snow Tribe having the same exact problem as the Hunters. They don't know who they want their quarterback to be. We're going to talk about the BIC and the U way too much because they're the two best teams possibly in the league.
Which, by the way, Matt, Mel also wants to tell you that he loved the blue blazer also that you wore yesterday.
Thank you very much.
Shout out to Mel, again, shout out to Mel Carey, who was all over the field yesterday with his wonderful camera views, getting inside the huddles, showing you just some
the hat at the end was just
so about the hat. It's not my hat. It's David Soberman's hat. And he came in dressed up like a Colorado cowboy today. And we were in the third game, and I was like, David, just give me your hat. Just give me your hat for a minute. I just put it on, and I got a hat now. I'm a hat guy.
And thus Cowboy Matt was born.
it was wonderful. It was absolutely wonderful.
Which just adds to me calling him the Jim Ross of A7FL.
But Matt, I actually wanted to ask you, especially about Huff.
Mm-hmm.
We had him on the show. The last thing he said was "Stay tuned," and that he was ready. And watching him with not even a number, he just has the lightning bolt on the jersey.
And there's a justification for that. His jersey didn't come in yet, so he was wearing Pac Money's jersey that he was supposed to wear last year because Pac Money was supposed to be on the U, but ended up on the Watchmen, but didn't end up playing on the Watchmen, so now he's on the BIC. And on that note, I'm going to have to go, gentlemen, but thank you so much.
He had the go-go.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, he wasn't playing. He had the go-go.
Our thanks to Matt Ryan for coming on and giving us take of what happened back in the East. Of course, like we said, the Patterson U put a 40 burger on the Watchmen, 42-18. Of course, the BIC pitched a shutout, 42-0. Yes. Yes.
Huff, I don't think people understand what we just saw this last weekend, or just yesterday. I don't think people understand what we saw because that is not an aging Huff. That is a prime
Huff
who is wanting the kill switch is on. The kill switch is the mentality of we are going to bury and destroy everything in our path is on. And they already talk about his Huff being the greatest quarterback to play in the A7FL.
I think that's non-debatable. That's non-debatable. That's non. Here's what people need to know about Huff. Just go back to last season. He took an average.
Below
average. If you want to go, we can go a step down to. He took a Silk City Animals team.
No wins.
Made them into a playoff team. And not to mention, the Baltimore Watchmen, who were very good last season, got to the Final Four and played a very good Nightcrawler team. The Watchmen only beat them by 8. The final score was 27-19. The Silk City Animals almost beat a very stacked Baltimore Watchmen team. That was the Silk City Animals getting to the playoffs. That was all Huff, which just adds to his legacy of why people call him the A7 GOAT when it comes to the position of quarterback.
This is scary.
And then he comes back to the team that he helped build a championship with. And then you beat a team that beat you decisively in the final 8 last season in the playoffs. And then you come back and mollywopped them 42-18.
it was a showcase, and it just perfect fit for the beginning for week 1 of the A7 at the 10th season to go off kind of the way it did. All the teams that we expected to be, great were great.
Mm-hmm.
All the players that we expected to be great were great. There were even some players that we didn't expect to be great that were being great. Everything open. I mean, obviously with some of the goose eggs and the tweaks and shit that still need to go on for other teams.
Mm-hmm.
It was a week that we're looking at it going for the rest of the season. This is going to be a dogfight on all levels. And to get back to that Insomniacs thing, what they need to get in hand is the first half. They're still asleep in the first half.
Yep.
You cannot be asleep in the first half against a team like, the BIC or the
You cannot.
PAC.
No, absolutely.
Absolutely not. Huff is going to put 50 on you before the halftime even comes. It almost kind of caught up to him a little bit with the Force. They let him hang around a little bit too long. But again, the depth of the team is what is the outlier in all of it, because they can outlast in the final stretch of the game.
JP, there's a question for you on my Facebook page. Mel Carey wants to know when you're coming to Vegas.
As soon as I can.
Mel Carey, there's your answer, buddy.
Hopefully, I want to get down there for some games and certain, like, just being able to get into the mid-season form. There's plans, I guess, for years to come, like in the coming years, that we want to try and make some East Coast trips to see the New Jersey side of the A7. So there's plans in the works, but we just need to get, or at least I need to get, certain things in order first before the adulting. That they always
That
told
thing's
us
real.
when we were kids. Somebody should have slapped us in the mouth when we said, "I can't wait to be an adult."
Yeah.
Somebody should have smacked the hell out of us.
This thing is real, man.
Said that. Because as soon as we became adults, reality bills.
Adulting.
Yeah.
So wonderful. Said nobody ever.
But we definitely have plans to get down there. We want to get down there as soon as possible. So, especially to hang out with everybody. It was a good time when we were there last time for the championship.
Yeah, so. It was a fantastic weekend up there in Bullhead City, Arizona. And if you do come down, hopefully we can get you in the booth to call at least one game with me, Chris and Scotty, as Big Knox did yesterday. But back to the Force Insomniacs game. I just felt like for the Force, I don't think they utilized their run game enough with Devontae Moncrief and Jalil Rogers because, I mean, obviously watching what Moncrief did for the Alienators in the fall, Braun, then adding his sounds to the Force definitely will help that backfield. But like I said, there were a lot of missed passes by Fox in this game because there were some receivers that were open, and Fox just was hesitant to throw the ball and to hit the receivers. And then, like I said, I mean, you're right. The Insomniacs do get off to slow starts in the first half, but they just – I don't know what goes on in the second half, but it's just –
They do still, regardless, like –
I mean, they held the Force to just 7 points in the second half.
We can say they play bad or whatever, but certain defenses cause certain things to happen.
Yes.
When you cause a certain amount of chaos in the backfield and your coverage and everything is good, just bad things will happen to quarterbacks in those types of situations. Do they start off slow? Yes. By the standards of what we hold them to, yes, they start off slow. And then when you look at it again in hindsight of what's going on in the league, that can't be a consistency. They have to figure out a way to get out of that, to get into the form and get used to playing at that high level, because you might need to drop 70 points in order to beat one of these teams out in the East. And it may not even get to that, because we're talking about the defenses. The defenses are stacked for every team pretty much out there. At least for the top 3 to 5 teams, the defenses are very good. And with the Force now, they did well under the pressure that they were dealing with up until that point.
Yep.
But again, just the wind leaves, things aren't going your way. The momentum of the game, we all know about football momentum.
Well,
When it's gone one way, you know it's gone.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, two guys that stand out for me on the Force defense yesterday was former Insomniac Tone Smith. He had a very good game for the Force yesterday. And also Gary Weaver, number 44. He was solid in the first half against the Insomniacs. He played well. So, I mean, like I said, I mean, I know Coach Smith is gonna get it together with the Force because, like I said, the Force is also a very well-ran organization. Has been for a long time. And we know what Coach JB is going to do with his organization. So, I mean, you might see this matchup down the road when the playoffs start during the summer. It might not be just a one-time thing with these two teams. So
wouldn't be shocked about that one.
That's just something to keep in mind. And then the nightcap, which always seems to be the over-the-top Sunday night football game, for lack of a better term. OTT busting out some new threads. They pitched a shutout.
Not too shabby though.
Those jerseys are some very nice jerseys, and for the first time in a long time, we always talk about OTT having heart. They'll play to the final whistle. It's very rare to see OTT having depth on their sideline, but they had that in their 42-0 win against the Gold. But something that is still mind-boggling is the fact that they really still don't know who is going to be their starting quarterback. Because, I mean, they have plenty of guys on there. They have Yodi Mack that can throw the ball. Joe Sims got some time in a quarterback, the lefty. And, of course, smooth Darnell Richardson, formerly of the Outlaws, formerly of the Kryptonite known as Lex Luthor, but now known as the Mechanic. He got some time in there at quarterback. Yeah, Smooth goes to a lot of different nicknames, let me tell you. But
man, that's good.
But it's just trying to figure out who's going to be that main guy to be at the controls for OTT, because obviously we know that the depth is there. And obviously we know that you're always one Savion Cunningham return or big play away from always getting back into the game. But I think my main thing is for Coach Lee and for Mr. Sosa is who's going to be that consistent guy to lead them at QB, because, I mean, you know, OTT can contend for a playoff spot, because I really don't know how the format's going to be for the playoffs, other than I know the Final Four is going to be East 1 versus West 2 and West 1 versus East 2. That's the Final Four format.
But
I don't know.
That might be good.
But I don't know how the how many teams can qualify for the playoffs. I guess that's something that the competition committee can let us know as the season progresses. But my main concern about OTT is not necessarily the talent on the other position, but who's just going to be quarterback number one to lead them consistently throughout the season. That's the question that I have for Over the Top.
Maybe it might be one of those. I mean, because Matt made a good point, especially with Patterson. They'll work with what they need. They have certain weapons to be a number one. But they based it off the certain packages. Maybe this might be the route that they're going with, because they've got a ton of burners on their team. I was looking at it going like, holy shit, these guys are just dudes are standing still. I'm okay. So if they have all of that, I understand, like, if you have one set person, and I understand that mindset. But I know Corey Hammond has definitely talked that mindset. But Big Rob has also said, like, when you have those amount of quarterbacks, but you have that, it's the factor is the unity aspect of it. When you have guys that are fighting for the spot and doing negative, and it's just being a detriment to the team, that's where it all falls apart. But when you have 2-3 guys that all have the same mindset, the same game plan, that everybody knows their role on the team, and no egos really get involved in it, that's when you start seeing, the greatness that comes out of it. That's kind of where it needs to go for some of these teams. And then you look at, when you look at the Insomniacs, obviously Scooter's the guy.
Yep.
100%. But if need be, they have others who can be able to handle certain situations.
Yeah.
It's just you haven't really had the need for the game plan because Scooter's just I throw it where I want it, when I want it, however I want it. Just the accuracy of this guy is just
the two throws that stand out in my mind from yesterday was the two throws he threw to Juice.
Yes.
First off, a guy built like Richard Juice Washington, you should not be able to run routes like that. That is insane. But Scotty just dropped it on him. Passes on a dime. Yeah. I'm just like, that is sick.
Yeah.
It looks with minimal effort too. That's
what the crazy thing about it. It does.
It doesn't really. He doesn't like. You're looking at some of these balls, and you would expect he needs to get a little step in it and really throw everything. He just and just all right, 60 yards.
No, the best throw I've seen Scooter do, and it just happened recently in the fall brawl game against the Indians, where he's literally on one leg, kind of like this asshole up here to my right, Mr. Mason, throwing off one damn leg and hitting Stone Stevenson for a touchdown and just being as all accurate as can be.
Didn't we have him on the show after that? I think that's the same game we had him on the show. We talked about it.
He came on the show. Well, I mean, we had a whole bunch of insomniacs on the doggone show.
Yeah, I mean, I believe that's the same thing we talked about to him last year. Was not last year, but the fall brawl was they started off slow, but they stick to their game plan, and when they need to find who they need to find, they find it. Like Wilkerson had a good game running the ball yesterday. Like he just hit the hole and just took off like a rocket.
When you have him in your backfield, and it's very simple. And it's very simple. He sees the hole, he hits it, and it's bye, baby.
Yep, and that's what I text you. I'm like, there's Mr. Wilkerson, just doing what he does.
Well, it's insane because it's like, okay, yeah, well, it's him, and of course, as you like to call him, his new nickname, the Archer, Mr. Eric Schufer Jr.
Man,
Mr.
Whenever it's what's they call him? What Chris called him? Fourth and Munchie.
Fourth and Munchie. Yeah. Fourth and Munchie.
And he's, like, I wouldn't say underutilized. He's just used right.
Yes.
When he needs to make a play, there he is.
Jumping away when he shoots the arrow. I don't understand.
What happened?
I've seen him score, and on plenty of occasions, you'll say he shoots the arrow, he gets ready, winds up, and then the hands out in the camera. I'm like, well, we gotta hold that.
It's been shown. They shown it yesterday.
I have no say on that because I mean that's one of my spots, if you will. And like one more time,
at all. I'm just saying, like,
and it's here and there, but I mean it's just, I mean, when you need him to make a play,
he's right there.
He's just the one guy. Okay, so Mel Carey just said he does not accept that answer, that we need to talk. Oh, good Lord. Good Lord. Again, shout out to Mel Carey, who
love you, Mel.
Here's what people don't understand about Mel Carey, and which is why he is just a dedicated.
No, he does a great job.
Not just that, but what people don't realize, Mel travels from Arizona to Vegas to do all this technical stuff for us. And I really think that he really needs to get his flowers, because I mean that's a lot of mileage.
100%.
Yep.
And that's carrying a lot of stuff to do what he does. And which is why
back and forth during the championship weekend, driving an hour and a half.
Yes.
2 hours back and forth.
I mean, not just him. Kelly and her mom do the same doggone thing. So I mean, when I always say that we shed light and try to give these people their flowers, because you don't understand how hard they work to make all of this go.
Well, you know what they say, behind the scenes is the reason why things go.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, as I said on Wednesday, I said I don't get to have a headset on without the heartbeat, which is the players. Without them, I don't have a game to call. So I mean, this is why a lot of us are as passionate why we do what we do. I mean, there's a reason why I call Matt Ryan the Jim Ross of A7 because he is passionate about what he does, and he thought he was gonna be back for this season, and he is, which would have been a real slap to the face because. I mean, you hear the passion in Matt's voice when he calls these games. I mean, we all do. We all just showed it in our own different way with our own different styles. But I mean, we enjoy doing what we do because we freaking love it. I'm really anxious to see your countdown tomorrow, JP, for all the touchdowns being scored and the plays of the week. I'm definitely looking forward to that for sure.
Oh yeah, again, I have all. I don't have any of the, and I got to put it in the description. I don't have any of the night crawlers touchdowns or anything because that wasn't filmed. That wasn't put on live or anything else like that I could see or had visual. Yeah,
No,
and there
I
were
didn't see
certain plays I think that were missed because again, going back and forth from three different streams from Ohio, Northeast, I'm gonna miss a few. There's a lot of touchdowns that were scored. There will be a few missed though. I apologize for that, but there will be a few missed.
Yeah, I tried to watch all three platforms, but it was just tried the laptop, my little TV, big TV. And I'm good at balancing watching everything. As you guys see, I've posted many things of me watching like 4 or 5 sports at one time, but you want to catch the entertainment from these games. You don't want to miss nothing. So I had to sack up and just watch Vegas. But I did see some of the other games though.
So this is what we did in the booth yesterday. So because we were trying to, give scores out to those watching our feed of what's going on back east and in Florida and in Ohio. So Chris would have the Ohio feed on his phone. I would have the Northeast feed on my phone. And that's how we were able to give scores of what's going on with the U and BIC and
nice.
And keep tabs on the Orange. I mean the Renegades and the and Silk City. So I mean that's probably the mindset of what we're gonna do in regards to how to get scores. I mean certainly if anybody is a statistician, please let us know if you want to be a statistician for the A7FL because we can really use a statistician because we really would love to give some stats and just not us having to write stuff down. Okay, this guy had a touchdown, that guy had a touchdown. I mean, it would be nice to have a really good statistician.
That's some work, though. Yeah.
You need literally individual people for each thing you were doing. It's a lot of stuff because I don't care what stuff. I was hearing the other day that football is a slow sport. I was like, I don't know how it's a slow sport, but
what sport are you watching?
I don't understand it. I really don't. I guess they're talking about like the stop the clocks and it's obviously soccer players and stuff like that giving the football and stuff like that shit. So
you mean the world's greatest floppers?
I mean I got to give soccer or football what it's do. It is the world sport. You cannot deny the numbers.
We're not. No, we're again.
To say it's not a fast sport is really
FIFA, naive. FIFA is the only sport that can tell an NFL stadium, get this doggone turf off or we're not going to use your stadium. And Sam's like, we're not missing on those billions of dollars. Okay, we will put grass in our stadium. But yet.
They're also the most corrupt. But that's another story.
Oh, what?
Well, yeah, we know that also.
That's a whole other show. We could just dedicate 2 hours to just talk about the corruptness,
right?
That's easy.
But yet your players that play for your league complain about the turf, but you're like, no, we're gonna keep the turf on there. But FIFA comes, all right, either you put real grass or we're not coming. Yes, sir.
Well, they know, like you said, about the money that's gonna endure.
Mm-hmm.
That's worldwide.
Oh yeah. The entire.
And we don't have to destroy any neighborhoods to do it.
No.
For some of y'all who don't understand, like the whole concept, especially what FIFA has done to these other countries where the World Cup and stuff like that has been held. Yeah, we're kind of lucky, especially in North America and stuff. There's already stadiums built, communities around it. No need to, displace people. I think
maybe just disperse the homeless out the area for a little bit. That's about it. But
they do that all the time. You saw what they did
exactly
in San Francisco. They cleaned that shit
Yep.
up overnight.
Easy.
All right.
The president's coming? You got to go, bro.
Yeah.
You got to go.
All right. So we
Gotta
have a
go.
question, and we just found this out today that the NFL is banning the hip drop tackle.
I've been fighting with people on social media about
I don't know because it's almost like, what do you tell these grown men that are running at full speed when they wrap their arms around them and that other player is still running full speed? And it's how do you officiate that? We already know how they throw flags now. You get one complaint about a tackle now, that can alter a whole game.
But I think this is where people are kind of misinterpreting what's going on, and they're it's going to be flagged all the time because they won't be able to interpret it. Well, that's why they added the extra referee to counteract it so that they can make sure. There's a counteract. The hip drop tackle in reality happens roughly 2-3 times a game.
I agree.
It doesn't happen very often.
Yes.
And usually when we see it happen, not 100% of the time, because that would just be over-exaggerating line. But a lot of the time, what ends up happening? Somebody pulls a muscle, somebody gets a strain. There's an injury that occurs with that type of tackle because all of your body is coming down on legs that are running full speed. So it doesn't happen very often, and when it does, it results in injury. Now, everyone kind of, especially guys who have played in the NFL, who are going, they're not allowing defense to play defense anymore. It's like, what are you talking about? Like that's not true whatsoever. Usually the best defenders, they're not making those tackles anyway because they're straight up putting them in the dirt.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually that type of tackle is when you're chasing and you got beat on your assignment.
There it is.
So how about get a little bit better? How about that? Defenses are already getting better now. Because they're talking about, the offensive production has gone down. What happened? The defense got better. That's what happened.
Yeah.
They were scoring 46 or like 49 points, around the league per. Now it dropped to 43. Okay, that means defenses are doing their job.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see the hip drop tackle being like, you're punishing the defense. Like, no, because again, it doesn't happen very often in a game, and when it does, most of the time leads to an injury.
Yep, that's true.
It's not something that I'm kind of like. I don't think that's going to affect the game as much people think it is. The only thing that it results in a 15-yard penalty. Okay, well then, teach your guys to tackle. Teach your guys to get better. Defenses have adapted. We see the stats on it. It's not like they can't adapt. So it's one other thing that we have to do and worry about. And tough shit. It's a tough sport. They're trying to find certain ways to stop major injuries from happening. Now, people go, they don't really care about the players. You're probably right. They don't care about the players. But if they keep the important players on the field from getting injured from those types of tackles, that's more money in their pocket. So, yeah, they're going to do something to kind of adjust that. But I don't think it's as big a deal or as negative as people think it is. I think it's actually a little helpful when it comes to preventing certain injuries.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, now joining us on the show is the newest member of the Wolfpack, the newest member of the Insomniacs, and he made his impact felt yesterday. The one, the only, Mr. Jonathan Smith himself, CJ Heem in the building. CJ, welcome to the show. Unmute your mic, buddy. Unmute your mic. Your mic's muted still.
I got you. How y'all doing, fellas? Yeah, Mr. Slippery Feet himself. How y'all fellas doing?
Well, I mean,
good to be on the show.
Thank you for coming on. Just talk about real quickly. How tough was that turf yesterday? Because I mean, there was a lot of slippage on the field. What were you guys talking about on the sidelines when all this was going on?
I couldn't plant at all. Every time I planted my foot and tried to go, I was a goner. Every time. So you really just had to just run. You couldn't cut, you couldn't do anything. To be honest, I got a good laugh yesterday because of all that slipping and falling.
So real quickly now, during the fall, you were on sick with it, and then for this national season, you decided to take your talents to the Insomniacs. Why the change?
Well, Insomniacs, the majority of them is family anyway. I was supposed to be with them after Kryptonite lost the first fall brawl. I was supposed to go in when they first created Insomniacs, but I was following my quarterback Smooth, but then he don't play no more. Darnell Richardson. So yeah, he don't play no more. So then I was just like, might as well go home.
If you can, try to turn the volume up because we can barely hear you. So if you can try to turn up your volume so we can hear you better, go ahead. Please, sir, if you can.
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
That works a lot better, yes, sir.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so no, basically, Insomniacs is family. I've been around them forever. Majority of them, from ownership down to players. I've been around them since I started playing flag football, everything. So basically, it was just easy to just come over.
All right, well, talk about what you guys talk about the game against the Forest yesterday. Obviously, it was a very close game, but I mean, you guys clamped down them, and then you pretty much held them to 7 points in the second half. What was the adjustments talked about at the half when it was tied at 18-18? What was the mindset of you guys in the second half to where you just hold them to 7 points?
Play Insomniac football. Really, that's really what it was. All right, fellas, we fucking around, we messing around. Let's get it together. That's really what it was. Insomnia now being part of the actual team, you see like the mindset. They really wasn't nobody complaining, tripping like that.
No. And I mean,
it was just like it's time to buckle down and play.
I mean, that's the one thing about watching you guys over this last season, where it's just you guys don't get flustered, even if you're trailing, even if you're down. It's just you guys just do not get flustered. It's just, okay, we need to do this, and this, and then boom, go execute. But it certainly does help when you do have one Anthony Wilkerson running the football. And by the way,
that's my first time.
And by the way, he got his power pellets yesterday, which had him go for 2 40-plus yard rushing touchdowns, and he decided to play some time on defense. Is just when watching him play and just watching him run the football, and you're watching on the sidelines, do sometimes your teammates just be, or that's just Wilkerson being Wilkerson?
That's just Wilkerson being Wilkerson. To be honest, that's always how it's been. He always been a force to tackle, even in pads. But now it's even worse with A7 with no pass because you essentially really can't hit him low. So that's a hard tackle for anybody. I feel like nobody even really wants to tackle him anymore.
You're not wrong on that statement. You're not wrong on that.
A business decision every time.
Every time.
Well, he is capable of taking one to the house every time he touches the ball.
Every time I got tired of trying to tackle him.
I can understand why. But I mean, okay, now I just have to ask this question because, again, Juice being the way he's built, big men like him are not supposed to be running routes like that and just catching the balls with ease. Where did y'all find him at? And because I mean, he can be starting on many other different teams if he wants to, but now he's just being a complimentary piece for the defending champions, which is, I mean, the depth that you guys have is just insane.
Yeah, this is really my first time like talking to Juice, but I've always seen Juice playing against him. Yeah, I know that a lot of people think to play receiver and slot. I believe Scooter found. I believe he went to Arborview with Scooter. Well, not with Scooter. Scooter coached him. But nah, somebody like Rich, he's still a kid. Like he's only 20.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, he's 20, and that kid is a beast.
Okay, he is 20, looking like he's a grown man. That's
Man, when he told me
Ouch.
20 yesterday, it hurt me. I was like, oh my Lord.
well, he can.
And that Scooter's guy.
He can definitely take over the mantle.
Whenever.
Running back from the Insomniacs, whenever Wilkerson and Devontae decide to hang up the cleats. But I mean, just just real quickly, obviously your guys' mindset is obviously to repeat, and obviously the Patterson U is the only team to do that in the A7FL. Just what's your guys' mindset as first off, I love the new white digs y'all put on yesterday.
Yeah, those are pretty sharp. Yeah, those are pretty clean.
Now, are you guys going to be running with that for the whole season, or you guys still have your black and red threads also?
Oh, we still got the black and red.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Still got the black and red.
Is it now coming to the point to where I guess you guys have a home jersey and an away jersey? Is that what's going on with these different threads this year, or just having new threads just to have it?
To be honest, I think that's how it's gonna be. I don't know for sure. I just come out there to play. I don't really get into the other stuff. I just go play football.
So real quickly, tell us about your football story, about your years playing the game, and who you pat in your game after and all that stuff.
When high school, when I played high school, I never got to go to college. I had terrible grades. I was worried about the wrong stuff. So yeah, but I played in high school. I played receiver. My favorite player was Hines Ward, so I really molded my game. I used to catch. I wanted to just catch passes, hit people, and then it just came down the line. Coach Burks, Quincy Burks on Insomnia. He was my high school coach. So he turned me into a D lineman. That's really all it is. Flag football, yeah. That's really what I do out here. But yeah, this league is fun.
So do you enjoy playing offense more or defense more? Which gives you more joy?
It just depends. Like, to be honest, like if I had the choice, I probably want to play offense in A7.
Mm-hmm.
But it really just depends. But defense is like really my home, so it's really like it's like in the air, because I can play both equally well. Like I can play tight end, I can block, but also can rush. So, but I mean, really, I'm a team player. So really,
I want to say you just sound like a football player, man. That's what that is. You just want to, whatever it is to contribute to help that team win. That's what you want to do, and that's good. I believe that's that whole team, because I met some of the other team came on the show, and that's all they preach about right there is just whatever it takes. I just want to be a good teammate, and I just want to be there for my brothers. That's a team. That's an organization. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice.
I mean, you've seen it firsthand, but just talk about how special Munchie is as a football player and just the things that he does.
Munchie. I don't even like giving him credit. I hope he don't see this. Nah, Munchie a dog, man. Munchie a dog. Munchie been a dog since I met him. He just got it in him. When the game on the line, Munch. No matter if it's on offense or defense, Munch.
Agreed.
Well, I mean, that's why Chris Vera says fourth and Munchie all the time. It's just where's 11?
Yeah,
you gotta find him.
You gotta account him.
Even when they do find him, he still gets it.
Yeah, it don't matter. You can't really.
The man scores touchdowns. The man gets tackles. The man gets sacks, and the man gets interceptions. I mean, like I said on the broadcast yesterday, is there anything that he can't do? I mean,
no, because like Booby Miles' uncle said, and he can pass.
Yes, and not a lot of people can see that. I mean, I go back to last season, and I forgot who the opponent was, but he was in a quarterback, and I mean, because as you know, I mean, when you think about left-handed quarterbacks, you mainly think about accuracy and precision when they throw the ball. Obviously, that's why I said Ken Stabler and Steve Young, the two best lefties to ever throw a football, in my opinion. And I mean, just the accuracy and the touch that he had on that deep ball. Like, again, I forgot the opponent, but I mean, he throws it down, and I think he threw it to Stone Stevenson, and that man is just a bulldog. That guy just will not give up for anything.
Oh no, Stone. Yeah, I've been playing against Stone in flag football forever. So how he play tackle is how he play flag. He don't give up. He don't.
But yeah, a lot of people don't know that Munchie can also throw the ball with the best of me. I've often said that he's just a football player. That's just the greatest compliment you can give a guy.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
But it's just, you guys have built-in coaches on your team. Obviously, Scooter's a coach, Big Kitty Mac's a coach, Munch is a coach, of course. Chris McWilliams, as he is recovering from his surgery. He was coaching.
That's my main guy right there. That's my brother right there.
Mr. Mouth, Mr. Chris McWilliams,
Mouth,
continues recovery. Definitely want to see you back on the field because it's weird not seeing number 10 line up to number 20. That is Mr. AJ McQuaig, whose motor never stops.
It's different when being in front, actually playing on the same team as AJ now, and I see the motor. I'm like, oh my. Because when you're on the opposition, you kind of gotta hate, he's not all that good and all that. Nah, I seen it the first hand. Nah, he's like that. I can't.
But the thing is, his ferocious intensity on the field is one thing, but he is just as humble of a human being as you would ever want him to be.
Absolutely.
Because at halftime, I'm in the booth and I'm watching him get focused. He's there, standing there on the 20-yard line by himself. It's like he's Ryu and Shadaloo getting ready to fight Sagat or Bison.
Absolutely.
That's just the look he has on his face. But after
he'll
the game,
put us back in the game too. He'll get our mind right. When there was a play I messed up, he's like, man, hey man, get it back in blood next time. Just get it again. He stay on people's head hey man, come on, let's get it. I need you.
So let me ask you this question, as we're up against it, as my co-host has to go do the adulting thing that is work, and unfortunately those never stop. But if you had your choice of playing a team back east, and I know a lot of the Insomniacs have voiced their opinion about that, but for you, if there was a team that you would like to put your team's talents up against, what team would that be and why?
Well, I've technically been watching A7 since it came out, so my choice personally, I would want to play Patterson U because they probably feel like they got some of the biggest history within that league. But the easy choice is BIC because everybody think that's gonna be the one that's gonna make it.
Good morning, Oos. How are you, buddy?
That's a good team to pick. That's a good team to pick. Yeah.
I don't know if I can just get a jig with them wearing those red jerseys when their main colors are ice blue, but that's another story for another day. But nonetheless,
everybody has alternates.
I know we all have alternates. Some I like, some I don't like. But seriously, CJ, we appreciate you coming on. I know you wanted to come on last night, and we got tired. But good health the rest of the way, and good luck the rest of the season. You guys come back at it on the 7th against the Hunters. Actually, you open up the week 2 for us against the Hunters. So good health and good luck the rest of the way. We appreciate you coming on, buddy.
Thank
you.
The
door is always open.
On the show. Y'all have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Thank you. You too.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
That was Jonathan Smith, CJ Heem of the Insomniacs, the newest member of the Insomniacs, joining us real quick and giving his insight. So just to recap of what happened in week 1 of the A7FL, as we are going to say so long for now and come back to you in 2 weeks for week 2. The Orlando Nightcrawlers, the defending Eastern Conference champions, beat the Orlando Ghosts 50-30. The Indianapolis Octane making their debut, their new season. They lose in their first game to the Covington Heights 41-12. The Patterson U, Huff returns to the U, and the U just was a well-oiled machine. They beat the Baltimore Watchmen 42-28. Sick with it, beat the Pit Bosses 48-6. The Kryptonite beat the Hunters 46-6. The Cincinnati Chaos, forgive me, Chris. The Cincinnati Chaos beat the QC Crush 41-0. The game of the day was the Insomniacs and the Force. Very good game. It was tied for a long time, but the Insomniacs put the game away 38-25. The Snow Tribe gets shut out by the BIC 42-0. Same score with the Gold and the Over the Top. Over the Top gets the shutout win 42-0. And Silk City beats the Renegades 21-8. So just real quickly, here are the matchups for week 2 as we get back to it back on April the 7th here in Nevada of the A7FL. As just mentioned, the Kryptonite or the Insomniacs. Well, here we go. Here I go again. The Insomniacs open up the day against the Hunters. That's at 11 o'clock, and all the games will be at Chaparral High School. So if you can come and watch at Chaparral, please watch us on A7FL.tv, Caffeine, and Fox 5.2 and Cox 125. The 1:30 game will be the Gold against the Force. Game of the week, the 4 o'clock slot will be the Kryptonite against the Pit Bosses, and the Nightcap, which was the 2 teams that gave us the highest scoring game ever in A7FL history. as it will be over the top against Sickwitted. Of course, last year back on April the 23rd, the score was 92-38 as Sickwitted. Yeah, Sickwitted scored the most points for a single team in A7FL history, putting up 92. And that's even with Savion Cunningham having 3 throw returns for touchdowns in that game. But over the top and Sickwitted is the nightcap as we get back to it on April the 7th. So you guys enjoy having the week off. Enjoy Easter Resurrection Sunday with your people. And you never know, Mizzle and I might come back tonight and give you show 177 to recap the weekend that was the NCAA tournament and preview the Sweet 16 matchups, and of course, give our little 2 cents as Major League Baseball is getting ready to start. Opening day is this upcoming Thursday on the 28th. And once again, this past Wednesday, a certain special lady had a birthday. So again, happy birthday, Mom. I will be officially taking her to her birthday dinner tonight. Well, I mean, she already got some gifts, and she's already put those gifts to use. One of them is a San Francisco Giants strainer or a cup, or those things, that a flask.
Yeah.
There you go.
I understand.
She got a Giants flask, so she already put it to good use. So now she can drink her tea in that flask. And I got her a nice Giant surge, so she's happy. But nonetheless, happy birthday, Mom. I love you. And nonetheless, you guys enjoy the rest of your Monday morning. Very rare that we give you the Mizzle and Dove show early in the morning, but we appreciate everybody for watching. Special thanks to Josh Fernando, the All-Pro Joffos.
Indeed. Thank you.
Yes. Please
check them out tomorrow as well.
With Country K and DJ Matchstick. Special thanks to Matt Ryan, the voice of the A7FL, for coming on.
Yes.
And giving us a recap of what happened back east in the Northeast. And a special thanks to CJ Smith, Shanta Smith, CJ Heem of the Insomniacs, for coming on real quick and dropping his knowledge in this back. And of course, you, the viewers, for chiming in and watching us as we talk about A7FL football, getting back into the saddle again with the opening day of the 10th season.
Good games.
For the game. So we will take a week off, but be back on April the 7th. But nonetheless, guys, appreciate you guys for coming in and watching. And like I said, stay tuned. You might get show number 177 tonight. But nonetheless,
you never know.
He's Mizzle. You never know. He's Mizzle. I'm Dub. We thank you for watching. And as always, dadgummit, it is 12 o'clock. Some doggone where. And you have been watching
Yes, sir.
the Mizzle and Dub Show.